Battle Through the Heavens, Chapter 133. Treating the wounds of a fallen sovereign in the cave. After rescuing the fallen Dou Huang from the river's edge, Xiaoyan carefully navigates the mountain paths to hide her from the prowling beasts. With Yao Lao's protection masking their presence, he successfully reaches his secluded camp to begin the arduous task of healing. Now, the young alchemist must use his skills to treat the devastating wounds of a sovereign whose power defies imagination.
Monsters prowled the mountainside in a blind fury, searching for the mysterious woman. Xiaoyan moved through the brush like a ghost. Yao Lao's protection wrapped around him, a silent veil that kept the beasts at bay. He did not stop until he reached the safety of his camp. His heart hammered against his ribs. That final strike of hers was terrifying. If the amethyst-winged Lion King had not dodged, that beam would have bored a hole straight through its skull. He had never seen a fight like that. A Dou Huang of that level did not show their hand often. He returned to the waterfall to gather his alchemist tools. Just as he turned to head back to his cave, his boots skidded on the wet stone. He froze. Down in the churning pool below the falls, a woman floated. Her white robes were a sodden mess. Her eyes were clamped shut, and her face was the color of bone. Xiaoyan swallowed hard. It was her, the Dou Huang who had been trading blows with the king of the forest. Now she was a drift of silk in the water. He hesitated. If he pulled her out, the scent of her blood might draw every magical beast for miles. If he left her, the Lion King would find her and tear her to pieces. A roar echoed from the deep woods, followed by the snapping of heavy timber.
"Lucky for you,"
he muttered. He dove into the current. The water was ice cold. He grabbed her, his hands finding the curve of her calf and the back of her neck. Her skin felt like polished jade, slick and terrifyingly soft. He shoved the thought aside and hauled her onto the bank. He ran. He did not catch his breath until he crossed the 50-meter mark surrounding his cave. Yao Lao had scattered a medicinal powder here that kept the predators away. He was safe. For now. He laid her on a flat stone inside the cave and slumped against the wall, gasping for air. In the dim light, he finally looked at her. His pulse spiked. She was more than beautiful. Her features were carved with a regal sharpness that even the grime of battle could not dull. But the sight of her chest made him wince. 5 jagged claw marks had shredded her robes. Blood soaked the white fabric. She groaned in her sleep, her brow furrowed in a mask of pain.
"She needs help,"
he said to the empty air. He pulled a dozen glass vials from his storage ring. He reached for her collar, but as his fingers brushed the fabric, her eyes snapped open. They were cold as a mountain spring, filled with a sudden, sharp fury. He recoiled, holding the vials up like a shield.
"I am just helping. You are bleeding. I have the medicine right here. Since you are awake, you can do it yourself."
He set the bottle down and backed away. He had seen what she could do. One stray strike from a woman like that would leave him as a smear on the cave wall. The woman exhaled, the ice in her eyes melting into exhaustion. She tried to sit up, but her limbs would not obey. Her body was a rigid weight.
"Damn that beast,"
she hissed.
A sealing technique.
Zhao Yan watched her from the corner. He stayed put. She tried to move again and failed. She looked at him, studying the young man. He looked plain, maybe even a little soft, but there was no malice in his posture.
"Apply the medicine for me,"
she said. Her voice was melodic, but it carried the weight of someone used to being obeyed.
"Me?"
Xiaoyan pointed at his chest.
Look, I will help, but do not go and try to kill me later because I saw too much. I like my eyes where they are.
A flicker of amusement crossed her face.
I am not that narrow-minded. Keep your hands steady and your mouth shut, and I will not repay your kindness with blood.
Xiaoyan moved in. He reached out and carefully tore the bloodied silk away from her chest. Beneath the robes lay a vest of pale blue inner armor. It shimmered like moonlight on water. The Lion King's claws had left deep grooves in the metal, and blood seeped from the cracks. If she had not been wearing this, she would be dead, Xiaoyan thought. He cleared his throat.
The wounds are under the armor. I have to take it off to stop the bleeding.
The woman's cheeks flushed a sudden deep rose. She closed her eyes. Her long lashes trembled.
Take it off,
She whispered.
just be quick.
Xiaoyan's hands shook. He sat her up, turning her back to him. His fingers brushed her skin as he worked the clasps. Every time he touched her, she tensed. Even a Dou Huang was just a woman when a man's hands were on her. He found the last metal hook and pulled the armor free. She hissed as the metal dragged over the raw wounds. With the armor gone, her back was bare. Her skin turned a pale pink under his gaze.
Watch your eyes.
She warned. Her voice was thin. He did not answer. He threw his own black robe over her shoulders to cover her, then eased her back down onto the stone bed. When he turned her over, her face was bright red. She did not look at him with hatred, though. He had been respectful.
I have to clean the wound.
He said. He pulled the robe down just enough.
He stopped the moment the jagged tears were visible. He could see the white skin of her chest beneath the blood. He did not let his eyes linger. He soaked a cotton ball in green liquid and began to dab at the gore. The woman's lashes fluttered. Her hair, once pinned in a high, noble style, began to spill across the stone. She looked less like a sovereign now and more like a girl in pain. She watched him work, her gaze softening with a quiet gratitude. He finished cleaning the tears and sprinkled a white powder over the raw flesh.
She gasped. A low, pained sound caught in her throat.
Almost done.
He murmured. He wrapped the bandages tight. His fingers brushed against her more than once, but he kept his expression flat, hiding the fire in his own chest.
There. The surface wounds are closed. The internal damage and the seal, that is up to you.
He stepped back and wiped his hands. The woman lay still on the stone. Then, she looked at him and smiled. It was a look that could have brought a kingdom to its knees.
Thank you.
She said.